Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 22 says, "He who has found a wife has found good," or a good thing, "and he receives favor from Yahweh." In Yaakov's case, the favor from Yahweh is going to be a very, very important thing. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 4 of Torah portion Vayetzi. Having 4 wives, somebody's going to need some favor. How in the world did Yaakov go to his family in Haran looking for a single wife and come away with 4? Time will not permit for us to get into all 4, but we can at least delve into the ideas of the first 2, Rachel and Leah, or as he married them, Leah and Rachel. He went there to marry Rachel. Rashi suggests that Leah's eyes were weak from crying because she thought that she would ultimately be given to Esau, and she had heard in faraway Haran about his deeds and character, and she feared being given to him. So if she could find a way to find Yaakov as a husband instead, that would be a good thing. So in the Sod level commentary writings of Judaism, the rabbis say that Leah and Rachel represent 2 dimensions existing in each of our spouses, women and men alike. So guys, this is not just for the wife here. This applies to you as well. Rachel represents the physically attractive wife. She is noted to be shapely and beautiful. She embodies the attractive, the charming, the romantic features of our spouse. That's when we put our best foot forward. In fact, in Hebrew, the word Rachel means you, as we noted yesterday, characterized by its bright white color, its lovable nature. Anyone picking up a lamb, a little one, would instantly fall in love with the innocence of this animal. In gematria, in the numerical value of the name Rachel, it includes the value of the words, "and there was light." Interesting. On the other hand, Leah represents the one who is weary. That's what her name means. She's weary. She's the weeping one. She represents those elements in our spouse that are more complicated, more perplexing, more disturbing. And if you don't think you have any of those qualities, ask your spouse to give you an honest answer. And sit down before they answer. Leah is the weak-eyed sister. Now, we don't understand exactly what that means. Maybe her eyes were just not attractive or as attractive as Rachel's. She is perhaps a plainer version of the 2 sisters. She is struggling inwardly, emotionally distraught, and she represents those of us that exhaust ourselves dealing with our stuff, constantly having something to rise up and to cause a problem. Again, we're talking about male and female here. Guys, don't look at your wives. Look in the mirror at yourself. So in the Hasidic writings, Rachel is associated then with the Sadiq personality, the one who has achieved a great level of righteousness, while Leah is associated with someone else called a Baal Teshuvah, the one that has had a hard life but has found Teshuvah and repented. Now, there is a contrast here that is noted, and the question is asked, which one is greater, the Sadiq or the Baal Teshuvah? And actually, even though the Sadiq is one who has elevated their righteousness and refined themselves to a higher level, rabbinically, the answer is the Baal Teshuvah, because that person has radically changed their life by experiencing the power of the Creator, It's not to say that you don't need the power of Yah to become a righteous person, but the ones that has dealt into the depths of sin or has come into the hardness of life and climbed out by the power of Yah's resurrection, his deliverance, his compassion, his mercy, and his redemption, they may have tasted of elements of Yah's character that the Sadiq has not yet tasted. And so they are actually viewed at a higher level. So while Rachel is beautiful to look at, and Leah may be troubled, in the end, it's Leah that's ultimately buried with Yaakov. And she's the one who achieves the higher status at the end. So when you get married, you may be thinking that you're marrying Rachel. And outwardly, especially on wedding day, that's probably the case. The comely, perfect, the spouse that you dream of, the one that you choose in your dreams. But it doesn't take long after the wedding day is over and after the honeymoon is over, and when life sets in, you begin to discover, hey, where did Leah come from? Where did these issues come from? I thought this was going to be romance and flowers, and it's struggle and dealing with issues and arguments and debates, unresolved tensions and wounds. Where did all of this stuff come from? That's when we realize that we have been put in someone else's life for the purpose of helping to refine, rescue, redeem, and restore such a person. You're as much about the healing of your spouse as the loving of your spouse and the enjoying of your spouse. Now, Yah puts us together. I had a pastor, I was thinking about this the other day. I had a pastor many years ago, and he says, if you marry the right person, there's nothing better. If you marry the wrong person, there's nothing worse. It may be that the worse is viewed as such because we're selfishly viewing the marital issue or the marital balance of things. What about my needs? What about my hurts? What about my fears and those things that I struggle with? Sometimes they have to be put on the shelf just a bit. Not that they're never going to be dealt with. There is give and take. There is a sense of balance here. But the love of Messiah for your spouse has been channeled through you. Think of that. The love of Yeshua for your husband or your wife, he is chosen to channel that through you to them. So when your love runs out, it may be that you have to rely totally on his. And he loves with an everlasting love. So Messiah has done the same for us. He has not only redeemed us because of the Raquel-like beauty that he sees in us and the perfection that he desires in us, but he has also chosen us because of our complexity and because of our woundedness and because of our great need of him and his compassion. He is indeed our knight in shining armor. He is indeed our rescuer, our redeemer. He is indeed the one who sits on a white horse with a blood-stained garment, declaring the virginity of my bride is intact and she is pure. She has been set apart for me. We yearn for him. We yearn for his redemption. Now, on a sad note, imagine Leah's heart. That first night with Yaakov, he loved her the way that she would only dream of being loved. When he found out that it was Leah instead of Rachel, he got angry. And for the rest of her life, she yearned for another night like that one, where she knew he loved her with a love that he could only give to Rachel. Something to think about. We'll think about these and talk more about them tomorrow. Until then, shalom.